Deputy Crowe, you have 7.5 minutes.
Good Margaret. I suppose despite assurances since the last European Council meeting, I think we're all still uncertain whether banking debt will be separated from sovereign debt and how actually this will come about. We have heard the words seismic shift, game changer, and that a deal was done that Ireland's banking debt would be separated from the sovereign debt. What we've all seen recently is high-profile member states actually moving back from the government's June statement. And there is a view that many of the statements that came out of that June, the people were gilding the lily in relation to the agreement that was actually agreed at that time. The recent statements from the German, Finnish and Dutch finance ministers that agreement does not involve legacy debts carries massive importance because these countries are the three strongest AAA rated states in Europe. And their statement, I believe, is a game changer. It is hugely significant. And as we all know, that the June statement will not be implemented without the support of the Germans, the Dutch and the Finns. My party colleague, Deputy MacDonald, said that the message from these finance ministers that Ireland should get lost. Minister Noonan has been quoted as saying that the government is engaged in a diplomatic offensive to implement the decision of June the 29th to break the link between banks and sovereign and to enhance the sustainability of our debt. I suppose all our concerns is that this diplomatic strategy, this diplomatic offensive, doesn't appear to be working. Irish people were told that they should pass the Fiscal Compact Treaty so as not to send out a negative signal to the EU and the markets, and that it should strengthen Ireland's hand in negotiations over its debt. Yet despite ratifying the Fiscal Compact, it appears any concessions the government had hoped for a bank debt on the foot of the ratification may not actually materialise. So without any irony, we're actually being told that any renegotiation would send out a negative message. Ireland must get a fair deal as soon as possible. I think it's the government's job to get this deal. And I'll warmly welcome any deal which reduces the burden working people have to pay for the gambles of bankers and speculators. In my opinion, as long as banking and sovereign debt are tied together, the Irish banking sector and by consequence this state's finances and the economy cannot and will not function effectively in the best interest of Ireland and its people. I'm conscious that we're actually standing here today. I listened to the debate about negativity and so on. A lot of us are going to be glued to the television screens tonight, the football game in the Faroes. And we have a situation there that I watched the press conference yesterday in relation to Trapattoni, and he was saying about he had the confidence of the dressing room. I'm sure, Taoiseach, you have the confidence of your cabinet and your backbenchers in relation to that. But the difficulty is that more and more you're actually losing the confidence of the fans or the people of Ireland. And it's similarly with we want to actually wear the green jersey. We want to actually see it working. We want to see us qualifying. But unfortunately, we're not seeing the results. And the system that we're actually using, similarly with Mr. Trapattoni, maybe the system we have to look at in relation to it. So it's like people are talking about it as very fractious in relation to fractious that this meeting is going to have. Probably a bit, maybe we need a Shane Long in there in relation to, a fractious meeting in relation to those negotiations with our European counterparts. I think we do need to make a few changes, and I know it sounds silly and all the rest making the connection there in relation to it, but it does mean a huge amount. It does mean a huge amount of people in relation to if we go to Brazil in relation, if we qualify in relation to it. It'll lift the whole spirit of the country, and it will lift the whole spirit of the country if you deliver in relation to this. We want to go to Brazil. We would like to see our economy like Brazil. Brazil's economy was a basket case a number of years ago. Now it's a driver for change in South America in relation to that. So there's a lot of similarities, even though it's a football game, it's not serious and all the rest. I would like to see you go in relation to, you talked in terms of what you were going to raise. I would like to see you talking about the social cost in relation to the policies, because I genuinely don't believe that many of those governments don't understand what people are going through in relation to that. I'm sure the people of Greece know what's going on. I'm sure the people of Spain in relation to, 53% youth unemployment. I'm sure they know what's going on, and people are living with this, and we know what's going on in relation to it. The Adams talked about the amount of people unemployed, nearly coming up to 500,000 in relation to that. So it's hurting our people. No one wants it. Like, none of us got involved in politics to hurt people in relation to it. So we want to bring about that change, and we have an opportunity here. But I do genuinely believe that we need to look at our strategy, look at bringing about change in relation to this. Youth unemployment, we know, is at the least 30%. We know that 200,000 people have left our shores over the last 3 years in relation to that. Immigration is not the answer. And again, we all know the effect that it's had. We've grown up in a system where we've seen our friends, we've seen family members having to leave. We thought that was all behind us, and now we're back again in relation to that situation. So we have an opportunity to bring about change, and that's what people want to see in relation to that. I would like to, you talked in terms of, in relation to the situation in Syria and the conflict that's happening there. The situation in Bahrain, I got messages today in relation to human rights lawyers, people being arrested in relation to that. Again, they're not people that are involved in violent conflict or advocating violence at all. They're people that want to see a peaceful resolution. They want to see change happening in their country. So it's important that we're on the side of change in that country as well. But we should be on the side of those in Europe who want to build a free Europe, a federation of people who want to see freedom and independence for those countries. So we have that opportunity, Taoiseach. I wish you well, and I genuinely do in relation to that. We have an opportunity to bring home some silverware in relation to it, but more than that, start to build the confidence in our people again, and people want to see that happening. And I've no doubt, if you come back in relation to a separation of sovereign debt and banking debt, you will have the eternal gratitude that is into our house.
Thank you, Deputy. And now I turn to Deputy